Good afternoon. I'm Karen Cassidy, Assistant Commissioner and Treasurer of the Department of Finance of the City of New York. I represent New York City Commissioner of Finance on the Banking Commission. I would like to start by introducing the other members of the Banking Commission. Mayor de Blasio's representative, Deputy Mayor for Operations, Laura Anglin, and Comptroller Stringer's representative, Assistant Comptroller for Economic Development, Brian Cook. The purpose of today's meeting, dated May 9th, 2019, is for the Banking Commission to approve its fiscal year 2020 interest rate recommendations for the early and late payment of real estate taxes. This meeting will be conducted pursuant to the rules of the Open Meetings Law. This means that members of the public have the right to attend, listen, and observe these proceedings, but they are not authorized to speak during this meeting. With that in mind, we would like to welcome the members of the public who have joined us today and thank you for your cooperation. I will now call the roll. Laura Anglin, New York City Deputy Mayor for Operations.
Present.
Brian Cook, Assistant Comptroller for Economic Development.
Present.
Karen Cassidy, Assistant Commissioner and Treasurer, here. We have a quorum and we can now conduct the business of the meeting. Acceptance of the May 10, 2018 Banking Commission meeting minutes. The May 10, 2018 Banking Commission meeting minutes have been circulated and there were no previous comments. Are there any comments now?
No.
May I please have a motion to approve the minutes of May 10, 2018 Banking Commission meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Can someone please second the motion?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Fiscal year 2020 interest rate recommendation. Our next agenda item is the annual recommendation of interest rates for early and late payment of real estate taxes for fiscal year 2020. As required by Section 1519A of the New York City Charter and Section 11-224.1 of the Administrative Code. Each year, the Banking Commission is responsible for recommending these rates to the City Council no later than May 13. Fiscal year 2020 discount rate recommendation. The Banking Commission recommends that the discount rate for the early payment of real estate taxes for fiscal year 2020 remain at 50 basis points, or 0.50%, which is unchanged from fiscal year 2019. There were a number of factors considered in making this recommendation, including the city's current liquidity, which is stable, prevailing interest rates, which have risen, and discount rates offered by several other municipalities, and the estimated administrative savings to the city from processing fewer property tax payments. The recommendation is to maintain the current level of discount is due to the inelasticity of taxpayers to the changes in the discount rate, coupled with the increase in revenue from additional interest earned on early payments as a result of a rising rate environment in calendar year 2018. Fiscal year 2020 penalty rate recommendations. The current city's fiscal year 2019 penalty rates for the late payment of property taxes are 7% for properties with assessed values no more than $250,000 and 18% for properties with assessed values greater than $250,000. The Banking Commission recommends the following fiscal year 2020 penalty rates. 7% for the late payment of taxes for properties with assessed values no more than $250,000. 18% for the payment of taxes for properties with assessed values greater than $250,000. There are a number of factors considered in making these recommendations, including the penalty rates charged by other comparable tax collectors across the country, interest rates charged for real estate secured consumer loans, and the rising interest rate environment in 2018, which includes a 75 basis point or 0.75% increase over the last 12 months. Are there any questions regarding these interest rate recommendations? If there's no further discussion, I will now read the 3 interest rate resolutions, and we will vote after I have completed each resolution. Resolution 1. Fiscal year 2020 early property tax payment discount rate recommendation. Whereas pursuant to Section 1519A of the New York City Charter, the Banking Commission is required to recommend to the City Council no later than the 13th of May the proposed discount rate for the early payment of real estate taxes. And whereas the Federal Reserve is currently in a hold steady and patiently assess the future rate environment, however, there have been 3 incremental increases of 25 basis points, or 0.25%, for a total of 75 basis points, or 0.75%, in the federal funds rate range in the past 12 months by the Open Market Committee of the Federal Reserve Bank on these dates: March 2018, June 2018, and September 2018. Concurrently, the prime rate has also increased in 2018 from 4.75% to 5.50%, or a total of 75 basis points. Whereas the increase in interest rates has allowed the city to earn more income than it had previously on property taxes paid early. From May 2018 to April 2019, New York City's quarterly average rates on its investments range from 1.70% to 2.49%, in comparison to fiscal year 2018, which ranged from 1.0% to 1.7%, an increase of approximately 80 basis points, or 0.80%. And whereas the Banking Commission's impact analysis for fiscal year 2019 demonstrates that this higher rate of return on investments resulted in $27.9 million of interest earned on taxes collected early at 50 basis points. This offset estimates of the foregone tax revenue of $9.6 million, discount given, plus the foregone interest income on the foregone taxes of $210,000, resulting in a net surplus in revenue to the city in fiscal year 2019 of $18 million, compared to $6.2 million surplus in fiscal year 2018. And whereas the impact translates to a total positive impact for the city of $19.3 million in fiscal year 19. This consists of the aforementioned $18 million in net surplus revenue and an additional $1.3 million in administrative cost savings. If the Banking Commission were to increase the discount rate to 100 basis points, 1.0%, this would produce $10 million less in net revenue to the city. And whereas changes in the discount rate decreased from 100 basis points in fiscal year 2015 to 50 basis points, or 0.50% in fiscal year 2016 through fiscal year 2019, has had little effect on the number of prepaid accounts or the amount of taxes collected early. The number of prepaid accounts has consistently remained at approximately 176,000, with a dollar value of $2.2 billion. Therefore, taxpayer behavior appears somewhat inelastic in response to the changes in the discount rate. Further, given the inelasticity, cash flow would not materially increase should the discount rate increase above 50 basis points, or 0.50%. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Banking Commission recommends to the City Council that the discount rate for the early payment of real estate taxes shall remain at 50 basis points, or 0.50% per annum for fiscal year 2020. And be it further resolved that said discount rate is to be offered only for that portion of real estate tax that is paid before the due date. May I please have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution number 2. Fiscal year 2020 late payment tax property interest rate recommendation for properties assessed no more than $250,000. Whereas pursuant to the New York City Administrative Code 11-224.1, the Banking Commission is required to recommend to the City Council no later than the 13th of May the proposed interest rate to be charged for non-payment of taxes for properties with an assessed value not more than $250,000 or not more than $250,000 for residential unit for co-ops. And whereas the proposed interest rate shall be at least equal to the prevailing interest rate charged for commercial loans extended to prime borrowers by commercial banks operating in the city, the prime rate, and whereas the Banking Commission notes that as of May 9, 2019, said prime rate stands at 5.5% as published by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. And whereas it is in the city's best interest to encourage prompt payment of real estate taxes of all taxpayers, and whereas the overall trend in the past year was a rising interest rate environment, there have been 3 incremental increases, 25 basis points, 0.25%, or a total of 75 basis points, 0.75%, in the federal funds rate range in the past 12 months by the Open Market Committee of the Federal Reserve Bank. Concurrently, between March 2018 and December 2018, the prime rate increased from 4.75 to 5.5%, or a total of 75 basis points, 0.75%. And whereas maintaining the current penalty rate of 7% for assessed properties valued at no more than $250,000 is consistent with the past year's 75 basis point, 0.75% increase, and the current Federal Reserve position of holding rates at current levels. Whereas the property tax balance amount delinquent increased from $306.7 million in fiscal year 18 to $345 million in fiscal year 2019, an increase of 12.6%, or approximately $38.6 million. The interest earned on the delinquent property taxes at 7% of $5.9 million was not enough to cover the negative impact of $6.1 million of the foregone interest the city would have made if the taxes had been paid on time. This is a result of the 80 basis point increase in the New York City investment rates in 2018. This resulted in a net negative revenue impact of approximately $200,000. Though the increase in the penalty rate from 6% to 7% for quarterly accounts in fiscal year 2018 did not avert the aforementioned slight negative impact, the loss would have been greater had the rate not been increased to 7%. And whereas the delinquency rate for quarterly accounts, assessed less than $250,000, increased from 9.52% to 10.43%, or an increase of 9.6%. The increase in delinquencies remains within a healthy range and has not significantly increased the city's overall delinquency rate, which went from a 9.18% in fiscal year 18 to 10.17% in fiscal year 19. Now therefore be it resolved, the Banking Commission recommends to the City Council that the interest rate to be charged for non-payment of taxes on all properties with assessed value not more than $250,000 or not more than $250,000 per residential unit for co-ops be maintained at 7% per annum for fiscal year 2020. May I please have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Resolution number 3. Fiscal year 2019 late property tax payment interest rate recommendation for properties assessed greater than $250,000. Whereas pursuant to the New York City Administrative Code, Section 11-224.1, the Banking Commission is required to recommend to the City Council, no later than the 13th of May, the proposed interest rate to be charged for non-payment of taxes for properties with assessed value of more than $250,000 or more than $250,000 per residential unit for co-ops, or where, irrespective of the assessed value, the parcel consists of vacant or unimproved land. And whereas said provisions of the Administration Code require the Banking Commission to propose a rate at least 6 percentage points, 6.0%, per annum greater than the prevailing interest rate charged for commercial loans extended to prime borrowers of commercial banks operating in the city, the prime rate. And whereas the Banking Commission notes, for the record, that as of May 9, 2019, said prime rate stands at 5.5% as published by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. And whereas it is the city's best interest to encourage prompt payment of real estate taxes for all large taxpayers, and whereas the delinquency rates for semi-annual accounts assessed properties greater than $250,000 increased 41.2% from 5.23% in fiscal year 18 to 7.4% in fiscal year 2019, which is still a healthy delinquency rate. The Banking Commission does not think that this is attributable to the 18% penalty rate, as the rate has not changed in decades. In addition, there continues to be a positive impact on New York City revenue when considering interest paid for semi-annual accounts of $22.7 million, offset by the negative $6.7 million of foregone interest the city would have had if the taxes had been paid on time, which resulted in a positive impact of $16 million in net revenue. Now therefore be it resolved, the Banking Commission recommends to the City Council that the interest rate to be charged for non-payment of real estate taxes where the assessed value of a property is more than $250,000 or more than $250,000 per residential unit for co-ops, or where irrespective of the assessed value, the parcel consists of vacant or unimproved land, remain at 18% for fiscal year 2020. May I please have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Can someone please second the motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Other business items. Does anyone have any additional items to be discussed before we conclude the meeting?
No.
Having completed the business of this meeting, can someone please make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can someone please second the motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. This Banking Commission meeting is adjourned. Thank you.